The doors slid open, and everyone in the room held their breath. Ambassador Thexian entered first. 7 feet tall, gray skin like polished stone, eyes that never blinked. Behind him walked his security team, 5 armed guards in black armor. But everyone knew the real threat wasn't visible. Somewhere in that room was a phantom, the deadliest weapon in the known galaxy, completely invisible, undetectable by any scanner, silent as death itself. 43 assassinations across 12 star systems, 0 failures. Earth's negotiation team sat ready, 10 diplomats, 5 military advisors, Senator Williams at the head, and in the corner, looking completely out of place, sat James Cooper, mid-level trade liaison, rumpled suit, coffee stain on his tie, with a 3-year-old boy strapped to his chest in a baby carrier. Little Ethan Cooper, chocolate smeared on one cheek, clutching a stuffed dinosaur. Thexian stopped. His expressionless face somehow managed to look disgusted. "You brought a child to an interstellar treaty signing." James shifted awkwardly. "My ex-wife has him on weekends, but she's got the flu, and my babysitter canceled last minute, and I couldn't miss this. So, unacceptable," Thexian said. Senator Williams leaned forward. "We apologize for the irregularity. The child will be silent." Thexian's eyes narrowed, but he gestured to continue. The room settled. Papers shuffled. Translators hummed to life. Then Ethan pointed at the empty space beside Thexian. "Daddy," he whispered, "why is there a scary man standing there?" The temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees, because Ethan was pointing exactly where the phantom stood. The invisible killer no species in the galaxy could detect. A toddler just saw it, and everything humanity thought they knew about their place in the universe was about to change. Let me back up and explain how we got here. First contact happened 8 years ago. Ship appeared in orbit, peaceful, curious. The Thexian Empire, masters of 17 worlds, technology centuries beyond ours. They came to talk trade, resources, knowledge exchange. Earth was excited, terrified, but mostly excited. We set up diplomatic channels, built translation software, started negotiations. That's when we learned about the Galactic Council. 47 member species, thousands of years of history, complex politics, and one very important rule. Every species needs an edge, something unique, a contribution that justifies their seat at the table. The Quinn had healing technology. The Vorax had faster-than-light precision. The Thexians, they had phantoms. Nobody knows how they created them. Genetic engineering, probably. Maybe dimensional manipulation. All anyone knows is this: phantoms are alive, biological and completely undetectable. They don't show up on thermal imaging. No mass displacement, no sound. Even psychic species can't sense them. They're 3 meters tall, 4 arms, blades grown from bone, and they've never failed a mission. The Thexians use them for everything: bodyguards, assassins, spies. Every important negotiation has a phantom present, usually several. It's their way of maintaining control, their edge in galactic politics. Cross the Thexians, and a phantom shows up in your bedroom. You never see it coming. 23 government leaders learned that the hard way. So when Earth applied for observer status on the Galactic Council, we knew what we were dealing with. Our military spent 2 years trying to detect them. We built quantum sensors, gravitational wave detectors, neural pattern scanners. We hired the best scientists, spent billions of dollars. Nothing worked. It's like they exist in a blind spot, Dr. Raymond Chen said. Our technology literally can't perceive them. But Earth wanted that council seat, the trade opportunities, the protection, the knowledge. So we agreed to meet with Ambassador Thexian. Final round of negotiations. The meeting was scheduled for a Tuesday at 9 a.m. James Cooper was supposed to be there, junior liaison on the trade committee. Not important enough to speak, just supposed to take notes. His ex-wife had custody that weekend. She was supposed to drop Ethan off Monday night, but Monday evening she called. Flu, fever, couldn't drive. "Can you pick him up?" she asked. James did. Ethan came with a backpack full of toys and a runny nose. Tuesday morning, James called every babysitter on his contact list. All booked. It was the week before Thanksgiving. His mother lived 3 states away. His brother was traveling. The meeting started in 90 minutes. James made a decision. He'd bring Ethan. The kid was well behaved. He had his tablet, some snacks, his favorite stuffed T-Rex. He'll be quiet as a mouse. James promised security. They weren't happy, but James was cleared for the meeting. His credentials checked out. They scanned Ethan anyway. Standard procedure. Just a normal 3-year-old. Nothing unusual. They let them through. James sat up in the back corner, gave Ethan the tablet with the sound muted. The boy settled in, playing some game with animated trains. When Thexian arrived, James barely noticed. He was trying to keep Ethan from dropping his juice box. The meeting began. Senator Williams spoke about mineral rights, trade routes, technology sharing. Thexian listened, responded, his voice flat and mechanical through the translator. Everything was going according to plan, until Ethan looked up from his tablet. His eyes tracked across the empty air beside the alien ambassador. His little face scrunched up, confused, slightly scared. "Daddy," he said in that piercing whisper only toddlers can manage. "Why is there a scary man standing there?" Now here's where things get really interesting.
James tried to shush him. "Not now, buddy. Play your game." But Ethan wouldn't look away. His finger stayed pointed at the empty space. "He's really tall. He's got big arms. Lots of them." Senator Williams paused mid-sentence. Everyone turned. Thexian stood slowly. His gray face remained blank, but his body went rigid. "The child," he said carefully. "What does he perceive?" Williams looked at James. James looked at Ethan. "Buddy, what are you seeing?" Ethan tilted his head. "The scary man. He's got knives on his arms. 4 arms. He's looking at you now, Daddy." The room went completely silent, because Ethan had just described a phantom, perfectly, down to the blade arms, the height, the 4 limbs, things no human had ever seen. Details from classified Thexian files Earth had stolen, but Ethan couldn't read, didn't have security clearance, didn't even know what an alien was. Colonel Peterson, head of military security, stepped forward. "Mr. Cooper, has your son been exposed to any classified materials?" "He's 3, James said. "He watches cartoons and eats chicken nuggets." Peterson pulled out a scanner, ran it over the space Ethan was pointing at. Nothing. Clean air. But Ethan kept tracking something, his eyes following movement no one else could see. "He's walking now," Ethan said, coming closer to the table. Thexian made a clicking sound, a command in his own language. The air shimmered, just for 3 seconds. And there it was, massive, skeletal gray body, 4 arms ending in curved blades, a head like an angular skull, standing exactly where Ethan had pointed. Then it vanished again. Peterson stumbled backward. Williams gripped the table, because they'd just seen something impossible. Thexian's skin had shifted to a darker shade. Anger maybe, fear. "How?" he demanded. "Your species has no detection technology. We verified this." James was staring at his son. "Ethan, can you still see it?" "Yeah, it's right there." Ethan pointed again. It didn't go anywhere. Dr. Chen was already on his comm unit, pulling up data. "Get me neuroscience," he barked. "Child development, visual processing, now." Within 5 minutes, Dr. Lisa Yamamoto joined via video link. Chen explained the situation, showed her the recordings. Yamamoto's eyes went wide. "Oh my God," she breathed. "It's the visual cortex, children's brains." She pulled up brain scan comparisons on screen. Adult human brains filter visual input. We evolved to ignore 99% of what our eyes see. Too much information. She highlighted areas in the scans, but children under age 7 haven't fully developed those filters. They process more raw visual data. They see patterns we've learned to ignore, shadows that shouldn't exist. Air density changes. Senator Williams leaned in. "You're saying the boy isn't seeing the phantom itself. He's seeing what it displaces," Yamamoto said. "The negative space, the absence of normal patterns, like seeing a clear glass door because of the way light bends around it." Thexian was listening, his translator device working overtime. "This is impossible," he said. "Our phantoms have defeated every species, every technology." Peterson crossed his arms. "But you never tested them against children." James felt his heart pounding. He looked at Ethan, happily pointing at the invisible monster. "There's 2 more," Ethan added helpfully. "One by the door, one near the window." Peterson's hand went to his weapon. "But if you think that's crazy, wait until you hear this." The meeting ended immediately. Emergency protocols. Both sides retreated to separate secure rooms. James found himself in a conference room with Peterson, Williams, and a dozen scientists. Ethan sat on the floor, building a tower with plastic blocks. "We need to test this," Dr. Chen said. "Right now." They brought in 5 more children, ages 3 to 6, kids of embassy staff. Told them they were playing a game, point if you see anything weird. The Thexians agreed to position 2 phantoms in the room. Invisible, silent, undetectable. 4 out of 5 children pointed within 30 seconds. There's something tall by the desk. A monster by the wall. I don't like the big shadow man. Every location matched where the phantoms actually stood. The youngest child, age 3, was 100% accurate. The 6-year-old only caught one of them. His filters were already developing. Dr. Yamamoto ran cognitive tests, visual processing assessments. "It's not just human children," she said after 2 hours. "I'd bet other species' juveniles can do it too." She pulled up evolutionary biology data. Every prey species evolved to spot predators, to see camouflage, to notice what doesn't belong. Adults learn to filter that out, focus on relevant information. But children, their survival instinct is still raw, unfiltered. Chen was pacing. How long does this ability last? Based on neural development, most children lose it by age 8 or 9. Some keep fragments until puberty, but by adulthood, the filters are permanent. Peterson saw the implications immediately. "We need to classify this. Now, if other species find out—" "Too late," Williams interrupted. She was looking at her tablet. Thexian just sent a priority message to the Galactic Council. Earth's juveniles can detect phantoms. Every species knows within the hour. Peterson swore. Because this changed everything. The Thexians built their power on phantom invisibility, on fear. If children could see them, that power evaporated. And Earth primitive, barely spacefaring Earth, just became the most strategically valuable planet in the galaxy. The responses came flooding in. The Quinn offered a formal alliance, technology sharing, protection. The Vorax proposed a defense pact, military support. 3 other species requested immediate diplomatic meetings. All within 2 hours. "They're scared," Williams said quietly. "The Thexians have used phantoms to control galactic politics for centuries. Now we can see them. That's terrifying to everyone." But here's what nobody expected. 2 days later, a Vorax science ship arrived. They had a request. They wanted to test their own children. Earth agreed. The Vorax brought 6 juveniles, ages unknown, but clearly young. They performed the same test. 5 out of 6 detected the phantoms. Not as accurately as human children, but they saw something. The next week, the Quinn tested their young, similar results. Species after species discovered the same thing. Their children could see threats, adults couldn't. Every culture had stories about it. Kids with imaginary friends, seeing monsters in corners. Adults had dismissed it as fantasy. But what if some of it was real? What if children across the galaxy had been seeing hidden dangers all along? Dr. Yamamoto published her findings. They went viral across 47 worlds. The juvenile perception phenomenon, she called it. Within a month, it had a different name, the innocence advantage. Because children weren't burdened by learned limitations, they saw truth. And that truth was breaking the galaxy's power structure. Thexian requested a second meeting, private, just him, Williams, and Peterson. James wasn't invited. But he watched the video feed. "Your children have ended our strategic dominance," Thexian said. "No emotion, just fact." Williams nodded. "Yes. We could respond with force. You could try." Peterson stepped forward. "But now every species can detect your phantoms. Every negotiation will have children present. Your invisible assassins are visible. Your secret weapon is public knowledge." Thexian was silent for a long moment. "What does Earth want?" Williams smiled. "Full council membership, not observer status, full voting rights. And in exchange, we'll train your diplomats, teach you how to operate in this new transparency. Because you're going to need allies now." not subjects. This brings us to the most shocking discovery of all. The real story broke 3 months later. Earth's intelligence services had been digging, following the thread. What they found changed everything. The Phantoms weren't just bodyguards and assassins. They were everywhere. Council chambers, private diplomatic meetings, treaty negotiations. The Thexians had been using them to spy on every species for 800 years. Every secret conversation, every private deal, every betrayal. Phantoms had been there, listening, recording. Thexlar's government had files on everything. Which species were planning rebellions, which ambassadors were taking bribes, which alliances were forming behind closed doors. They'd use that information to stay in power, to manipulate council votes, to blackmail allies and destroy enemies before threats even materialized. The Thexian Empire wasn't powerful because of technology. They were powerful because they knew everyone's secrets. Senator Williams called an emergency council session. Every member species present. Full assembly. Earth brought 30 children, ages 3 to 7. They sat in a special observation area, coloring books and tablets to keep them occupied. Williams stood at the podium. "We've made a troubling discovery," she began. The screens behind her lit up. Footage from the past 3 months. Human children in various council facilities, pointing out phantoms. Main council chamber, 17 phantoms present, not listed in any security report. Private Quinn negotiation room, 4 phantoms, unauthorized. Vorax military strategy session, 6 phantoms, no permission given. The chamber erupted in chaos. Species shouting at each other, demanding explanations. The Quinn ambassador was standing, his translator crackling with rage. "You've been spying on our private sessions. For how long?" Thexlar remained seated, motionless. Williams waited for silence. Then she continued. "Based on our investigation, we estimate the Thexians have maintained unauthorized surveillance for at least 8 centuries. Every major decision, every treaty, every vote. They've had phantoms recording it all." The Vorax delegate slammed his appendage on the table. "This violates every council law, every principle of diplomatic immunity. Sanction them, remove their council seat." Other voices joined, demanding justice, punishment, reparations. But Williams raised her hand. "Earth isn't calling for sanctions." The room went quiet, confused. "We're calling for a new system." She gestured to the children in the observation area. Ethan was there, building a tower with blocks. "From this day forward, every council session will include juvenile observers, from multiple species. They'll identify any unauthorized surveillance, any hidden guards, any secret weapons. Positions will be logged, published, made public. No more invisible power, no more hidden listeners. The shadows must come into the light." Thexlar finally stood. His gray skin had darkened to almost black. "You're demanding we surrender our primary strategic asset." "I'm demanding honesty," Williams said. "That's what the council is supposed to represent." The vote happened that day. 42 species voted yes, 3 abstained. Only the Thexians voted no. The age of invisible power ended on a Tuesday afternoon. Because a 3-year-old pointed at empty air and said, "There's a scary man there." But the story doesn't end there. The Thexians had one more surprise. 3 days after the vote, Thexlar requested a private meeting with James Cooper. Not Williams. Not Peterson. James. They met in a small conference room, just the 2 of them. And Ethan, because James still had custody that week. Thexlar sat across from them, stared at the child. "Your offspring destroyed an empire," he said. James pulled Ethan closer. "He's just a kid," he pointed at something he saw. "Innocence," Thexlar said. "That's your species' advantage. Not technology, not strength, innocence." He reached into his robe. James tensed. But Thexlar pulled out a small device, set it on the table. A gift. For the child. It was a hologram projector, activated by touch. Ethan reached for it. The hologram appeared. A phantom, standing in miniature, fully visible. "So he remembers," Thexlar said. "The first human to see us." The one who changed everything. James didn't know what to say. Thexian stood, started to leave, then paused. Your people will reshape the galaxy, James Cooper. Not through conquest, through truth. That may be more terrifying than any weapon. So, what does all this mean for us today? The changes happened fast, faster than anyone expected. Within 6 months, juvenile observer programs existed on every council world. Children aged 3 to 8 served as transparency officers. They didn't need training, didn't need briefings. They just needed to point and say, I see something there. Earth's program became the model. We trained coordinators from 19 species. James Cooper, believe it or not, became the director. The guy who forgot to arrange childcare ended up running galactic transparency initiatives. He traveled to different worlds, set up protocols, taught diplomats how to work in the open. Ethan went with him, the poster child for the innocence advantage. By age 5, he'd visited 12 planets, met 7 alien species. He still couldn't see phantoms anymore. His filters had developed. But his early detection had sparked a revolution. The Thexians adapted. They had no choice. They couldn't abandon phantoms entirely, too integrated into their society. But they learned to request permission, to file surveillance reports, to operate transparently. It was humiliating at first. But something unexpected happened. Other species started trusting them more. Because the Thexians were finally playing by the same rules. No more secret advantages, no more hidden leverage. Just their actual diplomatic skill. Turned out they were quite good at negotiation when they couldn't cheat. Within 2 years, Thexian approval ratings in the council actually improved. We were addicted to our advantage, Thexian admitted in an interview. It made us lazy. Earth's children forced us to be better. But not everyone was happy about the changes. 4 species attempted to develop their own invisible surveillance technology. All 4 were caught within weeks. By children. The Korathi tried dimensional phase shifters. 7-year-old Vorax juveniles spotted them immediately. The black market for stealth technology collapsed. If kids could see it, what was the point? Meanwhile, Earth's research into juvenile perception exploded. Dr. Yamamoto won the Council Science Prize, twice. She discovered that human children could detect 19 different phenomena adults missed. Not all dangerous, not all useful. But consistent, measurable, real. Her research sparked new fields: developmental neuroscience, perception, evolution, filter theory. Other species contributed. The Quins studied auditory development in their young. The Vorax examined how juveniles sensed electromagnetic fields. Every species found something their children could do that adults couldn't. The galaxy realized something profound. Growing up meant giving up certain abilities. Adulthood wasn't just gaining knowledge, it was losing perception. And that loss had been considered normal, inevitable. Now scientists were asking, what if we could keep some of those abilities? Dr. Chen led a research team exploring adult retraining. Could grown humans relearn childhood perception? The answer was yes, partially. After 6 months of visual exercises, meditation, pattern recognition training, 28% of adults could detect phantoms. Not as well as children, but enough to make a difference. Other species replicated the results. The implications were staggering. If adults could relearn filtered-out perception, invisible weapons became obsolete. The arms race shifted, away from better stealth, toward better awareness. Earth found its niche in the galaxy. Not through military might, not through advanced technology. Through honesty. Through seeing clearly. We became the Council's neutral observers. Peace treaties? Earth juveniles verified, no surveillance was present. Trade agreements? Our children confirmed both sides were actually alone. War crime investigations? Young humans identified unauthorized spies. We weren't the strongest species, not the smartest. But we were the most trusted. Because our children couldn't lie about what they saw. James Cooper's career took an unexpected turn. From low-level trade liaison to galactic transparency director. All because he brought his son to work one day. Ethan's now 6, starting first grade, normal kid, plays soccer, likes video games. But he's famous across 47 worlds. The boy who saw truth when everyone else saw nothing. Schools across Earth now teach innocence studies. Lessons on how children perceive the world differently. How to listen when kids say something doesn't look right. Parents stop dismissing their children's observations. I see a monster in my closet became something to investigate. Not always. Sometimes it's still just imagination. But sometimes children see real threats. And now, finally, adults believe them. Before we wrap up, there's one final thing you need to know. The full truth came out 5 years after that first meeting. A declassified report, published by Thexian reformists. It revealed something nobody expected. The Thexians knew. Before Earth's Council application, they'd done reconnaissance. Standard procedure: study the species, find their weaknesses. They'd observed human families, seen our children, and they'd noticed something odd. Human juveniles tracked movement that wasn't there, pointed at empty spaces. The Thexian researchers noted it, filed it as primitive prey instinct. They didn't test it, didn't investigate. Because the idea that children could threaten their greatest weapon was absurd. So they ignored it. And that ignorance cost them an empire. The report included a note from the original research team leader. We saw the threat, we dismissed it as impossible. This is the danger of certainty, of assuming our advantages are unbeatable. A child defeated us because we forgot the most important lesson. The universe doesn't care what we think is impossible. That report changed James's understanding of everything. They knew, he told Williams, they could have prevented this. But they didn't believe a toddler could matter. Williams smiled, underestimating the innocent, oldest mistake in history. Ethan's 7th birthday was last month. The Thexian government sent him a gift. Not from Thexian, from the phantom who'd stood in that first meeting. Phantoms could speak now, the transparency laws required it. His name was Kextar. He'd been invisible for 43 years. The gift was a memory crystal, a recorded message. Kextar appeared in the hologram, fully visible, standing in light. Young human, the message said. I was bred to be invisible, trained to hide. For 43 years, I existed in shadows, unseen, unknown. You saw me in 3 seconds. At first I considered you a threat, an enemy who'd destroyed my purpose. But I was wrong. You freed me. For the first time in my life, beings know I exist, they speak to me, they see me. I am no longer a weapon, I am a person. Thank you, Ethan Cooper. Thank you for pointing. Ethan watched the message 3 times. Dad, he said quietly, I just told you what I saw. I know, buddy. Did I really change everything? James pulled his son close. You told the truth. That's the bravest thing anyone can do. The statue was unveiled outside council headquarters last year. A small human child, pointing at empty space. The plaque reads, Truth needs no filter. Representatives from all 47 member species attended. Even Thexian, retired now, but still respected. He stood before the statue for a long moment. Then he placed his hand on the child's bronze head. We built our civilization on what others couldn't see, he said. One honest child brought it down. Let that be our reminder. Innocence always wins. James took Ethan to see the statue during the ceremony. That's you, Dad? Ethan asked. That's any kid brave enough to point and say, I see something there. Ethan nodded seriously, then went back to playing on his tablet. He didn't fully understand. Maybe he never would. But somewhere in the galaxy, a 6-year-old Quinn child pointed at a corner. There's something hiding there. And an adult actually listened. Because that's what changed. Not technology, not weapons, not politics. The galaxy learned to believe its children. To see through innocent eyes. And in the end, that made everyone safer. If this opened your eyes, here's what matters most. Let me recap the key lessons here. First, Earth's children could see invisible alien assassins that no technology could detect. Second, This ability exists because children haven't learned to filter their perception yet. Third, one toddler's honest observation dismantled an 800-year empire built on secrecy. Fourth, the galaxy learned that innocence seeing truth without filters is more powerful than any weapon. If you enjoyed this story about humanity's unexpected advantage, hit that subscribe button. We've got more HFY content about how human weaknesses become galactic strengths. Drop a comment. If your child pointed at empty air and said they saw something scary, would you believe them? Have you ever ignored something you saw because it seemed impossible? For another story about humans breaking galactic rules just by being human, check the video in the corner. It's about how Earth's poets accidentally started a council-wide revolution. Thanks for watching. Remember, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is point at the truth and say, "I see it," even when everyone else says there's nothing there. Especially then.